pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's enough of that. Anyway, Mick and Duane show.
Yes, it is.
I gotta get all my stuff set up here. Today is a bummer. I know my Facebook feed was full.
Blown up.
Blown up.
Yeah.
What a bummer of a day. Let me just get connected here. See if anybody's feeling me here.
Set up
Glorious
here.
bastards are. Oh, remember we got to.
Today, shh.
There we go.
There we go. Turn your radio down.
Turn your radio down. All right, we'll get some tunes playing. See, I got this all ready.
Okay.
All over it. We can't spin none of their stuff because Facebook will go.
Yeah.
Anyway, as most of you all have heard, they announced today the passing of Neil Peart.
Yes.
I was at work, getting ready to leave, got in the car, and Tyler called me. He said, "Is that true? Neil Peart died?" I went, "What?"
Yep.
And I stopped right there, and I was just, son of a bitch.
You'll remember that.
Yeah,
It's one of those events.
where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I was. And he actually died Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh, wow.
they're just now
Yeah.
releasing.
Give the family some time and
Yeah.
band members time, probably.
Yeah. Bring it down just a tad. I think it's all right where it's at. We're all right. So anyway, this really hit me hard, man. It's not just his drumming. You know, it's how he led his life. The content of his lyrics.
Yeah.
How inspiring they were. They took you to different places. You could relate to all the stuff he wrote. And I've read, I think, all but one of his books and stuff. I don't know. It's just a bummer. Some people they just don't get it. And I'm not starstruck in any way with anyone. There's maybe 3 or 4 musicians when they go, it's really going to hurt.
Yeah.
This one hurts bad.
Yeah.
This one hurts bad.
I remember Red Barchella the most from him, and it just took me right to out in the field driving this sports car. Just takes you right there. I don't know how to explain it because it's in my head, and his lyrics are taking me there.
So they were known for being long-winded.
Yeah.
at first, you
Yeah.
know, and then I guess it started coming together on Permanent Waves, Spirit Radio, Free Will, those.
Yeah.
He was getting better, and then when Moving Pictures, he had it. I mean, if you look at the lyrics, pull up the lyrics to Red Barchetta and see how sparse it is, and then think to yourself how much of a picture he paints.
Yep.
He paints a novel in
Oh, I didn't know you was going to bring that one up.
12, 14. No, I'm just.
That's the one.
It's all just
one
off
that
the
sticks
cuff.
out to me.
But you look at those lyrics. There's like 12 or 14 lines, but it's like a whole novel, and he's got it into this nice, concise.
Yeah.
And you can picture every line. You can picture everything.
Well, the next one for me, it's the whole side is 2112.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah.
Then I went back though and started enjoying some of the longer ones.
Yeah.
By Towards Snow Dog and went back into some of their stuff. I'm like, man, really good stuff all around.
Yeah.
All around.
It's just a bummer, man. It sucks.
Yep.
You know, so I was fortunate enough to see him play 13 times. 13 times.
I don't know. I never.
Did you ever go see Rush?
Yes, I did. I don't know how many times.
How many? Well, you was at
Another one, yeah.
the one where in high school, a bunch of us, buddy, you, me,
Nick Davis.
George Nicholas,
Yeah.
Dave Young.
Yeah, maybe Dave.
Who else was there? Anybody else there?
It probably was.
Probably was, but this is December in our senior year, and we all went and seen Rush, and
Yeah.
we had great seats. What were we, like 6th row, 10th row, something like
row.
that? 6th
I
row,
remember the 6th row.
and That wasn't good enough for us,
No.
was it? As soon as the lights went down, on the stage.
Well, we got up there right front, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was great memories. George Nicholas commented on that, and I was like, damn. He says that's probably the single best day of high school ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll
Good
agree
shot.
with you on there.
Good shot.
So the bummer, I mean, there's so many bummers around this. You know, I come home, sit down in my chair, and then Pam gets home, and I go over to her, and I got this look. She goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Neil Peart died." And she's just like, you know.
Yeah.
She
knew what it was going to do to you.
No, she don't understand.
Oh, she don't understand.
She don't understand. No, she don't. She does now.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't, you want to go get something else? Like, no, I'm not hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit here. And like I say, it wasn't just because he was in a band I liked.
Yeah.
You know, it was so much more about him. The
Motorcyclist also.
motorcycles, his stories, everything, just awesome.
They would even on tour. I think he had 2 or 3 or 4 bikes or something. He would ride between the venues, and the crew would take his bike wherever he needed to go next time, to where he could ride this way and that way.
Yeah, so
I don't know really how it worked. I don't know if he had 2 bikes and.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
I know. Well, what got it started was, okay, back in '97, he lost his daughter. She was in college. Lost his daughter in a single vehicle accident, killed her. 10 months later, his wife Jackie had cancer and died.
Oh my!
So within a year, and that's when he went off the deep end. Getty and Alex he just at the funeral, at Jackie's funeral, he just looked over to the guys and said, "Consider me retired."
Yeah.
And then he went home and he sat at the house for a week or two, and just going nuts. And he hopped on his motorcycle, RS 1100 BMW, and just started riding. And rode 55,000 miles.
Gee.
In 2 years, or however long it took him. He went all up into Alaska, down the coast, down into Mexico, and rode for I don't know how long, but 55,000 miles.
Gee, man.
And they were all worried about him. They were all worried, but he would send them little postcards every once in a while, just to let them know he was okay. And so you go through that, and then this, man. They quit touring in 2015. Alex, he's got arthritis problems. Neil, problems with his shoulders and stuff. But they quit in 2015, and he had not newly, he's been married to this lady 20 years.
Yeah.
And got a young girl. She's in her probably maybe 12 or 13 now, or something like that. And he retires so he can spend time with them.
Yep.
In 2015. Now, from what they posted, postcards with nicknames. Yeah, postcards with nicknames, even like Bubba or Pratt, or they all had little nicknames for each other. Yeah, he didn't sign them Neil Peart.
Yeah.
They all knew it was from him.
Did he write on the postcards of blah 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 blah?
No, that's Alex.
That's Alex. That's right.
So anyway, where was I at?
Right before I interrupted you. He was out riding. He had the young girl, the young daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2015 they quit. Tyler and I, the R40, we went and saw the last tour. We saw them twice in one tour. The one before that was awesome.
So
Getting to see him twice in one tour.
did he come back after the 55,000 mile ride?
Right.
Okay.
So
Getting ahead of myself. Getting
Yep.
ahead of Mick.
So-
Getting ahead of Mick.
so he finally, I think it's his book. He wrote a book about his trip called Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
and it's real, bummer. But he's talking about the people and stuff that he meets in town, and he's reflecting back, blah 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 blah. And then the book abruptly ends. Hey, I met a new woman. It's just like that. But still a good book. If you like motorcycling and Neil Peart, you're gonna like it. So anyway, after I think 4 years, it was 4 years, and he called the guys up and said, "I think I'm ready to work again."
Yeah.
So, and then within a year, Vapor Trails came out, and I went to that tour. You know, went up Columbus to Polaris and seen them up there. I think that's when he started. See, Getty and Alex, they would fly in between shows.
Yeah.
And Neil he got a bus with a trailer and 2 BMW motorcycles, and he had somebody with the crew or a friend or whatever ride with him.
Oh, okay. I knew there was 2 bikes. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah. And the 2 bikes is, of course, you know, if something would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened many times, you know, where a bike would break down, and you know, Neil's the boss.
Kicked it off.
Yeah, he said,
"Let me have your bike."
"Give me your bike." Yeah, you know, he's got to get to the show.
Yeah, they'll come back and get the crew member.
Yeah, they'll
middle of the night sometime.
Yeah, a crew member, he'll make calls and arrange things and whatever. You know, wasn't no big deal. Oh, Tyler's trying to tell the story for me.
No.
So anyway, yeah. So that's how he started doing it. But he started. If you read some of his books, he doesn't even talk about the shows or anything, and he calls them the guys from work.
Oh.
And he goes to work.
Yeah.
You know, his fun time is the motorcycle time. That's what he looked the most forward to.
Wow. Can you imagine being on tour and that'd be the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta go to work tonight.
I would think it would be 2 fun times, but after the 40 years... 40
plus years to, yeah.
I'd still say it was exciting fun.
Oh, yeah.
But...
So if you do the math on... They announced that he'd been battling it 3.5 years. So, they quit in 2015.
Yeah.
And he retired to be with his family more. So he had 1 year before he got diagnosed. And how suck ass is that?
Yeah.
That's
maybe we don't want to work our whole life.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to hit me harder.
Mick is bummed.
I am. I'm bummed as hell. It's going to hit harder.
So the place to be is in the studio.
Place to be in the studio right now. It's a really big loss. You know, he went to England when he turned 18. Tried to make it music out there. He was out there for 18 months.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. Come back and then got the job with Rush.
Yeah.
And the first show he played was in front of 14,000 people. They were already signed and already had an album out.
Oh wow.
You know, they had John Rutsey.
Right.
And he had health issues, and so they had to get a drummer, and they hired him. Yeah, so I think he had 2 weeks to practice.
Yeah.
The band had 2 weeks to practice, and they had the first show in front of 14,000 people in Pittsburgh.
I wouldn't have made it. It takes me a while. Oh my. Dude.
But the good thing about, Tyler was texting me, and we were talking about how sucky and shit this is, but they do have a good body of work.
Yes.
For us to enjoy.
Yeah, he left us a lot of things to listen to. And
a lot of videos and books. Mm-hmm. And I would say that they have plans for more videos. They've been big into the DVD thing lately. I don't know. I'd always thought in the back of my head that, maybe they might do another album but not tour.
Yeah.
And I'd have been okay. Yeah, sure. Touring's grueling, especially when you get older, but it was not to be.
Nope.
So anyway, we're sorry about being bummers this show.
Yeah, being a little down.
Yeah, this is a bad day for those that don't know. The Professor Neil Peart is no longer with us, and that's a goddamn.
But I figured it'd be a Mick and Duane show more out of respect for him
Yes.
instead of what we normally do.
Yeah. You don't want to be goofy.
Yeah.
It's not a time to be goofy.
Well, probably after we get done with the show, we might jam some of their music.
Yeah.
Just to get might not help us do it, might make us worse, but we could get past it a little bit. And it's just fun to play their music.
Oh yeah. It's
Or
hard.
try to play their music.
Try to play their music.
As a bass player, it's kind of hard for me to play their music, but, especially, that's a tough one to play out.
He was the most air drummed drummer ever.
The Tom Sawyer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the professor on the drum kit.
Yep.
Don't tell you about his last drum sets from the tour.
No.
Okay, so the last tour, he had 2 drum sets made. His regular DW, awesome modern set.
Yep.
And he had another set made that looked like he's old school, but it was still DW.
Yeah, I remember
High
that.
quality. But
You get the vintage look for the stage. Then they start out modern and start taking away. And
yeah, with everything else. But he had 2 kits. That was it. But somebody found a 1,200-year-old Romanian oak tree that had been submerged in water.
Yep.
And
They recovered the wood.
they said, we got to have this wood.
Yep.
And they bought, I don't know how much they gave for the damn tree. They made 2 drum sets out of it, and it was for that tour.
Yep.
It's pretty kick-ass. 1,200-year-old Romanian oak.
Yeah.
Pretty good shit.
He could afford it though.
Yeah, it's just money, Duane.
Yeah. I have a hard time coming across it. But
Yeah. Wish I had more.
They didn't have that problem, I don't think, after they got started.
No, I read an article, now this has been a while ago, that Alex Lifeson had stated that to this day, this is probably a couple years ago,
Yeah.
he still gets $24,000 per month just off moving pictures.
Wow.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I could probably live on that.
Yeah. What car do I want to buy this month?
24 grand a month just for that album.
Well, it was probably the most commercial, so.
Oh, it was, yeah, that was definitely the biggest seller.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd have come out today, the way radio and shit is now, they'd have been done. Because, okay, so Rush comes out, they sell 20,000 copies.
Yeah.
All right. Next album comes out, hey, we sold 30,000
Yep.
or 40,000. I think they sold 40,000. In the first few weeks.
Yeah.
And fly by night, 40,000. Hey, better.
Yeah.
Next, they got really weird and did Caress of Steel.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's still some gems on that one.
yeah, back down to like 15,000.
Oop.
So the record company calls their manager.
Yeah.
We need a meeting with you. And he goes in and, they start, we want singles. We need radio hits. He says, yes, I'm sure that's what they're planning on doing. They're working on that right now. I'm certain that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So he goes back to the band and tells them, here's what the label said.
Yeah.
And they were all like, no, if we got to go out with a bang, if Alex says if I got to go back helping my old man in plumbing,
Yeah.
Neil says if I got to go back to the tractor parts department, so what? And they wrote 2112
Yeah.
and released it, and the record company hated it.
Yes.
I mean, they thought it was the end. The tour before it, the Caress of Steel, they started calling it the Down the Tubes tour.
Yeah.
Is what they called it themselves. And but anyway, they come out with 2112, and radio hated it.
Yeah.
But the underground, it was the fans. The
Yeah.
underground. I remember my older brother Joe. I heard it coming out of his room. When it first came out in 1976, I'm like, what in the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is that? I'm 9,
Yeah.
and I was just enamored with it. They, you know, had these really weird looking robes on, and
we've watched these guys that's never heard stuff before, and they hear Rush. Remember you showed me that guy?
Yeah.
And his expressions is like, there's more than 3 people there.
Yeah.
That can't be 3 people.
That can't be 3 people. There's no way.
Why I ain't heard of this before? You know, he's older dude, and that can't be just 3 people. He was just couldn't believe the sound that was being generated. And they made some good noise together.
Yeah, they did. Well, again, we're sorry. Yep, kimonos, Tyler. Yep, they were looking for a new look or something. They were in Japan. Hey, maybe these kimonos might look good.
I think it's all skinny as could be.
Oh yeah, they were starving to death, you know, out on the road.
Long hair kimonos.
Yeah, kimonos. Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. This show is just a little tribute, mine and Dwayne's tribute to the Neil Peart. It's a bummer of a day for the music world.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch y'all later.